Hi everyone, Katrina here. We are doing another Laugh Loves Local, and today we are sitting with Brian McGregor, who is the owner and operator of Brown's Cleaners here in Ottawa. Hi Brian.
Hi.
Thanks for coming out today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you have Brown's Cleaners is actually quite a large organized store. You've got locations from Canada to Rockland all the way through and into Barrhaven. Is that
Yes.
correct? And how many locations do you have now in total?
25 locations.
25 locations. That's amazing. And you started with 2 locations in 1976?
My father purchased 2 locations from another cleaner in 72,
72.
and then purchased the 2 Brown's Cleaners locations in 76 and changed the name, all 4 to Brown's Cleaners at that point in time.
Right. So this has been a family business from the beginning then?
Yes.
Wow. I can imagine that. Weren't you involved in the family business even when you were going through school and kind of working in?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you've taken that and grown it into the business that it is now.
Yes. Yeah.
And your parents are still involved, is that correct?
Yes, they are.
That's amazing.
My mother does payroll with me every second week, and my dad comes into the shop at least 4 days a week, and actually does work sometimes. He's actually doing maintenance, and he'll help with the maintenance guy or consulting on flow of the
Yep.
plant. Yep.
Wow. And one of the initiatives that you have is a pickup service, is that correct?
Yes, we have free pickup and delivery.
You have
we call
free
it.
pickup and delivery.
That's what it's called, yeah.
Wow.
So the pickup and delivery, we started in the middle 90s, 96 I think roughly, and grew it to a point where we have now 2 trucks full-time running throughout the city.
Wow. 2.
2 trucks, yes.
Okay.
Two caravans going
Yeah.
through the city. And they're offering it free is actually valid because the pricing in the store and the pricing on the truck are the same price.
Right.
The cost for operating a location, the same cost of operating a truck.
Right.
Why would I charge anything extra, even though the service is much better for the client?
For sure. So if I was the client, how would that work? I would just call up Brown's Cleaners and say, I have
Yes.
something, could you come pick it up?
Yes.
And what's the turnaround time for that?
It's usually 3 days.
Wow.
So we marry up the days of the week. So Monday goes back Thursday, Thursday back Monday, and
Okay.
Tuesday, Friday, and Friday to Tuesday.
That's amazing. I can imagine that's quite a popular initiative.
Once people are hooked onto it, that's the word. They're hooked.
Totally.
They stay with it. It's seamless.
For sure. And you've been doing that since 1996?
Yes.
The pickup and delivery service?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Brown's Cleaners is very committed to supporting the community. My understanding is that you do a number of different initiatives throughout the year to really give back to the community and to support the community.
Yes.
And one of those initiatives is the snowsuit. You're partnering with the Snowsuit Fund?
We've been partners with them for years, where gently used snowsuits are donated in any one of our locations. They come to our facility, and we clean them and donate them to the Snowsuit Fund.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And what about
you.
the Fairy Godmother?
Fairy Godmother program, which was started with my sister years ago and a good friend of hers. And it's where we donate and outfit underprivileged graduates from high school, ladies generally, and they get a prom dress because the dress is everything. They wouldn't go to the prom otherwise unless they have the dress.
That's amazing. So how does that work?
Sometimes there's shoes, and
Yeah.
sometimes there's jewelry even involved, depending on who donates and what is needed. So that's usually coming through a social worker or guidance counselor or something like that, where you qualify to come into the program.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And so you do snowsuit in the winter and the Fairy Godmother in June season.
Yeah, it's usually starting working with it at the end of April and goes through to about June, depending on which school and what's needed.
Right. Now, your locations from Canada to Rockland into Barrhaven, you're all over the place. You have independent and you also have franchise locations, is that correct?
Yes, most of our locations are franchised,
Okay.
but we do have a couple corporate stores.
Okay.
But all the cleaning comes to one main facility.
Okay.
Our main facility is at the corner of Bronson and Catherine.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's where all the cleaning is done.
Right. Do you find more people coming into the store? Do you find more people doing the
There's definitely more people coming through the stores still.
Really? I would have
Yes.
thought the exact opposite.
No, it's people are still under the impression that they have to be home
Yes.
and schedule it It's been easier since COVID to have that occur because most people are staying home for work
Yes.
quite often.
Yes.
But before that, if you look at it in the traditional way, they don't have time, so they don't think about it. And so we have to now convince you that you don't have to be home.
They don't have to be home to schedule it. You just come pick it up and take it away,
Yes,
and then
yes.
come back, drop it off,
Correct.
and they don't need to be
It can be
home.
done at the front door. It can be delivered. People are now used to doing these kinds of items because of Amazon
Right,
and the deliveries
right,
that are coming
right.
to the front doors now. So clothes, we've been doing that with clothes for years,
Right.
since 1996. And then there's a lot of people that give us their garage codes, and we work out of the garage.
Seriously?
Oh yes.
That's brilliant.
Well, the garage is the nicest.
Yeah.
And so you talk to somebody who uses the garage. We have a bag that's hanging in the garage. It might be near the recycle bin or whatever they're doing. You come home at night. You bring you take your clothes off. You decide which ones you want to have cleaned. You want to put back on. You walk downstairs with them. You have to put them in the bag. You don't even know when we come. So all of a sudden the bag disappears and the clothes from the last delivery are delivered there. You come home in the garage and there's the clean clothes hanging. Oh. It automatically happens.
How convenient
You don't
is
have to think about
that? Wow.
How many times somebody try to fill a bag so they're efficient?
Yeah.
Have a full bag when they go to the
Yes.
cleaner.
Yes.
But now you're asking us to do it in the same day
Yes.
because the last blouse or the last shirt is in the bag.
Right.
Well, you don't. This is always just rotating every 3 days, so they never have that issue.
Wow.
Or it's raining and you don't want to get out of the car.
That's true.
Now you forget the bag's there.
So
3 days later, you haven't given it to me.
It's brilliant. So you find, Brian, that the pickup and delivery service is surprisingly, I'm surprised by this, but the pickup and delivery service is not as popular as the in-store service. People are still going in the stores more
Correct.
than they're going into the pickup.
Correct.
And that's because they don't realize that they don't have to be home for the pickup service.
That's part of it. That's
Yeah.
part of it. But also, the customer is not. I have to train the customer, and that's part of the problem. There's store customers. It's typical. Store customer, you want to come in, you want to see somebody. Most customers are not consistent.
Yes.
They're not every week anymore.
Yes. Yes.
So therefore, they don't feel they don't want to bring us out there and put us out of convenience.
Right. Right.
So they'll just bring the one duvet. They'll bring in their winter coat, the items that they're doing seasonally, and so that's all they'll do. That's where most of the customers are at now.
Right.
A lot of people are doing, because they're at home more than they used to be.
Right.
And they're doing their own shirts and a lot of hang to washed and hang clothing. So
But you're not doing just clothes. You talked
Correct.
about duvets, and you do a lot of other things other than just blouses and shirts.
correct.
And,
Well,
and
we have a
pants.
division called textile restoration.
Okay.
And that does the whole home, where you have a disaster, flood, fire, smoke damage, or something like that, and anything that's got fabric on it, we clean. So when it comes to that same concept, when a customer just coming in for retail cleaning,
Right.
sure, we the duvets, the sleeping bags, the winter coats, all these other items that are peripheral in the home, area rugs, they'll bring them all in. We do all that work.
Really?
Blinds,
Wow.
drapery, of course,
Wow.
pretty much anything with fabric on it.
So I do have a suede jacket I'm bringing you. It's not a blouse, but it's suede, but I want to get it dry cleaned and I want to get it patched up and
Yep.
I'm actually really excited to see what you do with it, to be honest with you. I'm like super excited to see what you do with it.
Yep.
So how did you get through the challenging times of what COVID offered? Because as you know, COVID was challenging for a lot of businesses.
Yes.
So how did Brown's Cleaners persevere through that pandemic?
Well, sales dropped to as low as 18%.
Wow.
The only reason we still had 18% was because we still had some contracts. We're doing some uniforms. We do hotels. We do some uniforms for like the police force that do the Parliament buildings.
Right.
They're called Parliamentary Protective Services.
Right.
Things like that. We clean. So that's why we still at 18%. We're still, to this day, we've never been able to come back to 70%, over 70% of our pre-pandemic sales.
Right.
So we have to adapt.
Right.
So at the time I had 61 staff, went to 8 staff,
8.
8. And then we've grown back to the point where we have now 40 staff
40.
just this year.
So it's taking a while, but you're climbing back up.
I don't know if we'll ever go past the 70, 75% range.
Right.
If we get to 75, it's probably where that'll be the new normal that everybody talks about.
Right, right, right.
That everybody thinks is the way we're going with this post-pandemic era. So we have to adapt to that and try and make money at that. The subsidies from the government were very helpful.
Yeah.
The wage subsidies.
Yeah.
We worked them both ways. We had staff that I had on full time,
Yeah.
even though they weren't working full time, and then got a subsidy for that. And then I had other staff that were off on the CERB, I guess it was called, and we also brought them back part time
Right.
and paid them a portion so that was allowed
Right.
without clawing back the CERB.
Right.
So we were maintaining the staff and so they could survive as well.
Right.
Well, the worst industries. There's two worst industries that in the pandemic for all was the event planners and caterers,
Yes.
as well as the travel agents.
Yes.
They weren't just $0; they were negative dollars
Yes.
because they had commissions and deposits all on that they had to get back
Yes.
because people didn't do the things.
Yes.
You know, it's one thing to go down to $0, me to go to 18%.
Yeah.
They went to negatives.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
giving back commissions.
Yeah.
You're still dealing with something where you're an entrepreneur, you have a business, and you have staff. Let's say,
Yes.
And staff depend on you generating revenue that can pay them, and have them working there. And so, you know, my philosophy of life, of course, is there's only really three things in life that have any value, and that's your family, your health, and then there's time, and that's it. Everything else you can replace. So the business, you have to keep it in perspective, but still, you're caring for others at the same time, right? So it's when you have that as your backbone, you can look at the business differently then. You know, it's not a living entity that's even if it died, it's not it can hurt you, affects you because it's something you've created and now it's gone, but
Right.
it's you can still replace it.
Right.
So someone who gets sick in your family, that's a different.
That's a whole other different
Correct.
thing.
And-
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the way I look at things. You know, somebody comes in and they might have a complaint with me for some reason with the cleaning, and but it's still just clothes. There's another jacket over there, another pair of pants over there. It's, you know, it's,
But you're part of what I really like about how you manage Brown's Cleaners and how you've designed it and created it all is your not just your commitment to the staff that you've got and
Yes.
the commitment to the customers that you've got, but your commitment to the community as a whole. You are what I know from you is that there's a sense of giving back to and a caring for everyone that is there. It's not just about clothes. It is how can I serve my staff? How can I serve my community? And how can I contribute and uplift everything?
yes.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes. I mean, my staff, they're partners.
Yeah.
I treat them as partners. They've been, and a lot of them there a long time with me.
Yeah.
And they've raised their kids. The kids have gone to university. They paid off their mortgages. All these things
Wow.
that I've helped as partners in the business. Because
Yeah.
if they're not there, I'm not successful either.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's got to work that way. And so I treat them with respect and empower them, and they have their own decisions. And it's just a natural when you have partners. That's the way you're supposed to work, right?
Yes.
It's like a marriage. And so in the communities, it's almost the same thing. I'm part of the community.
Yes.
So even downtown has its own issues. Well, these are still people.
Yeah.
Might be homeless, or they might have mental disabilities, or something that's. You talk to them. Talk to them like human beings.
Yeah.
They're still people.
Well, you're part of the community all over Ottawa.
Yes, all over Ottawa.
Yeah.
So it's all aspects. My plant is actually right downtown, so it's
Right.
well speaking to her. But
Okay. Well, thank you, Brian, for coming out and having a conversation with us about Brown's Cleaners and the success that you've had from 1974, 1976, when you started with 2, and then you had 4, and then you've grown all of that. You and your whole family have grown all of that to 25 stores that you've got now.
Yes.
And I am impressed, and I can't wait to try I have to tell you, I can't wait to try the at home. service. That the convenience of that is, I think, quite outstanding.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.